Hi there and welcome. My name is Whitney White and I'm the Principal Consultant for our Digital Advisory Services practice here at Online Business Systems. I'm pleased to have the chance to share some insights with you around the topic, getting from A to B with your digital strategy and roadmap. This is such a crucial and yet exciting topic as it lays the foundation for successful digital transformations. Over the years, I've had the privilege of working with organizations across industries at varying stages of their transformation journey. This experience has given me a deeper appreciation for how a structured approach to crafting a digital strategy and roadmap can make all the difference in the downstream implementations that follow. I invite you, therefore, to journey with me as I break down our flexible approach into actionable steps while sharing some of the practical insights we've gathered helping organizations navigate the creation process. Before exploring our approach, we'll make two fundamental stops along the way. First, we'll discuss the what and why of digital strategy and roadmaps to dispel with common misconceptions, define what they are, and why they're so essential. On our second stop, we'll review key factors that answer the question, when is a digital strategy and roadmap needed? Finally, we'll focus the majority of our time on our approach itself. For each phase of the approach, I'll break down the what, why, how, and who, discuss common challenges, and share at least one practical insight. With our blueprint in hand, let's head to our first stop. Welcome back. We're now at our first stop, the what and why of digital strategy and roadmaps. These terms are often used interchangeably, but they're actually distinct yet deeply interconnected. I'll break it down for us. Your digital strategy is your why. It's both your vision of what you aim to achieve and the compass that ensures you remain aligned throughout the ensuing journey. Your roadmap is your how and when. Think of it as a tactical guide with high level sequencing that outlines the steps to execute your digital strategy effectively. Without one, the other loses its effectiveness. You need both to get the complete picture and to start your transformation journey from an informed position. So, what aren't they? Well, one common misconception is viewing these strategic tools from the narrowed lens of being static IT centric artifacts. While these tools outline how technology will drive business value, their scope extends far beyond technology alone. After all, transforming your organization is not solely about implementing new technologies. It requires a balanced approach that incorporates critical organizational layers, which includes your processes, data, security, both your user and customer experience, as well as any training and change management to transition to the future state. Another common area of confusion, well, is the relationship between your digital strategy and the organizational strategy. There's a default thinking that if I have an organizational strategy, isn't this my starting point? Well, to clarify, your organizational strategy is your destination. It's the big picture goals and long term objectives of your organization. Your digital strategy, well, it aligns with your organizational strategy and provides directionality for achieving those goals through digital initiatives. It's how technology enables the vision. The roadmap is your tactical plan that lays out the steps to execute the digital strategy effectively. It's the how do we get there, not to be confused with detailed project plans. The takeaway here is that each plays a unique and yet significantly critical role. So, what are digital strategy and roadmaps? Well, what makes a digital strategy and roadmap indispensable is their role as investment enablers. Think of it as a decision making lens. With a clear strategy and roadmap, you're not just spending on technology, rather, you're investing with purpose and with confidence. In reality, these strategic tools are intended to be dynamic, evolving tools that align with your organizational goals and deliver continuous value. So, what's included? Well, first, I'll level set. Roadmaps may vary in focus. They may be department specific, cross-functional, or covers the entire organization. but they all support informed decision making. They're not just static plans or one size fits all templates or a list of projects, and your roadmap isn't a Gantt chart detailing every step. Instead, they're dynamic, living, breathing tools that adapt as your organization evolves. They typically include initiatives that have been identified to support the organizational direction, and those initiatives are supported by the necessary elements such as cost estimates or risk and dependencies. They help to clarify feasibility, sequencing, and again informs the investment enablement of your organization. So why do they matter? Well, in today's fast changing environment, organizations face constant pressure to adapt, whether it's from technological disruptions, evolving customer expectations, or internal inefficiencies. Without a clear strategy and roadmap, it's easy to feel reactive and overwhelmed, unsure where to focus or how to move forward. Together, these tools bring clarity, alignment, and focus. They help to ensure that every investment in technology drives measurable impact, enabling your organization to navigate complexity with confidence. Now that we've unpacked the what and why of digital strategy and roadmaps, let's explore our second stop and review the when. Digital transformations thrive on proactiveness. Understanding the right time to develop a digital strategy and roadmap can make all the difference in how successfully you navigate your organizational growth. While not an exhaustive list, these represent broad categories we've encountered most often. First, there's strategic planning. These are the cycles or intervals where your organization is looking to set a new direction or align with long term goals. For example, your organization may be crafting its 5 year business plan and needs to ensure that your technology investments align with the aspirations for growth and efficiency. Another example is a charitable organization preparing for a new multi year funding cycle may develop a roadmap to ensure that its technology infrastructure supports grant management, donor engagement, and impact measurement systems efficiently. Organizational changes often signal the need for a strategy and roadmap. These could include mergers and acquisitions or the introduction of new products. Imagine two companies merging, necessitating the need for a cohesive IT ecosystem to support their unified business operations. Without a clear strategy, inefficiencies and redundancies could derail progress. There's also market and external factors. These could be regulatory changes or shifts in industry dynamics. For instance, a financial institution adopting to new compliance regulations or a retailer rethinking their approach in response to evolving customer expectations for digital channels. Finally, technology disruptions can be a major driver. The rise of artificial intelligence, cloud computing, or automation technologies often prompts organizations to assess their modernization needs against how they deliver value. Think of a healthcare provider integrating telehealth platforms to stay competitive in an increasingly digital patient care landscape. What ties all these scenarios together is the reality of continual change. Some changes are routine, such as annual strategic planning, while others are more disruptive, like the sudden adoption of emerging technologies. In the midst of continual change is the need for continual alignment. Remember, your digital strategy and roadmap are intended to evolve with your business needs. One of the key takeaways, therefore, in this discussion around the when is action over precision. Your time investment is essential. Waiting for perfect circumstances or holding out for complete certainty can lead to missed opportunities. Often the best time to start your journey is now, equipping yourself with a digital strategy and roadmap needed to navigate change confidently. Having laid our foundation, we're now at our third stop. Starting with this slide, I'll spend more time talking about how we partner with organizations to develop their digital strategy and roadmap. Our approach is built around these seven interconnected phases, each designed to flow seamlessly into the next, creating a structured yet flexible framework. Each phase is designed to deliver value on its own while also progressively building toward your actionable roadmap. There are several core principles that underpin this approach. However, I'll use this opportunity to highlight four. A critical principle is maintaining a strategic focus. The strategic focus is a strength providing you with alignment and flexibility. It ensures that the resulting roadmap is in alignment with your organizational goals. Another core principle is collaborative co-creation. What this means is our approach is supported by two-way engagement. You're the expert in your business, and a roadmap centered on transforming your business cannot and should not be created without the input of your subject matter experts. Traceability is our third principle. While we maintain a strategic focus, we also ensure that the details that emerge throughout the process are not lost or discarded. Every decision, requirement, and output can be traced back to its origins. Finally, at every phase, we focus on what's most important, ensuring that time and resources are dedicated toward the areas of greatest impact. The core principle of prioritization enables this. Prioritization powers clarity. Over the next few minutes, we'll walk through each phase in a bit more detail and discuss what makes them integral to the process. As a reminder, for each phase of our approach, I'll break down the what, why, how, and who, discuss common challenges, and leave you with one impactful insight to consider. The creation of your digital strategy and roadmap is a project. It is not and should not be treated as a solo endeavor. Success depends on collaboration across your organization. This naturally means the first phase is to prepare and plan. What exactly does this involve? Well, it involves getting started by establishing and laying the groundwork for effective engagement management. Why might this be so important? Well, preparing and planning delivers immense value. It focuses on establishing governance, onboarding stakeholders, and therein creating the momentum that is necessary for success. Governance ensures that there's clarity around roles and responsibilities, as well as the decision-making structures, while stakeholder onboarding introduces objectives and scope of the engagement, ensuring alignment from the start. Without these preparatory activities, achieving alignment and clarity can be a significant challenge, which can derail the entire creation process. Think of this phase as setting the baseline for the journey ahead. It's where you determine how the engagement will be structured and how everyone involved will work together to achieve the desired outcomes. How do we ensure that this phase sets you up for success? Well, this phase involves key touch points focused around planning and scoping. First, we engage a select group of stakeholders to validate the scoped areas and determine the scale and complexity of the roadmap. Remember, the roadmap can focus on just a department, cross-functional teams, or the entire organization. A second activity that's key here is creating the engagement baseline, which helps to manage expectations around schedule, effort, and interactions, as well as availability. Conducting a formal kickoff meeting is probably the third and maybe most crucial activity. This kickoff is where all stakeholders align on the value proposition, logistics, and the anticipated effort for creating the digital strategy and roadmap. The goal here is to ensure that everyone is starting from the same page and has a clear understanding of what's ahead. So who's involved? Well, the focus here is on strategic leaders. IT leadership and senior organizational leadership play a critical role in defining the baseline, validating the scope, as well as identifying additional stakeholders who will be engaged later in the phase. We typically see your CIO playing the role of sponsor for these types of engagements. The identified stakeholders must be onboarded before we progress to successive phases. While this process is underway, your stakeholders will naturally be contending with operational obligations as well as commitments to other equally important projects that are running in parallel. Competing priorities is one of the most common challenges we see in this phase. So how do we address it? Well, we develop an analysis plan to balance availability with interaction times, ensuring stakeholders are engaged without overwhelming them. And this helps to avoid gaps that could jeopardize the success of the engagement. Now, I've mentioned the words clarity, momentum, and alignment several times while discussing prepare and plan. So it's no surprise that our key insight is that clarity enables momentum. Starting the creation process hinges on establishing effective engagement management. This phase provides the clarity needed to build momentum, which ensures that you're set up for success from the start. With the foundation laid in phase one, we now shift our focus to phase two, develop strategic intent. What does this phase involve? Well, developing the strategic intent means establishing the foundation for your roadmap by defining the digital intent that will guide the transformation journey. Why is this so important? As we've established, your organizational goals are the destination, your digital strategy is both your vision and compass, and the roadmap is the planned route. Here's the thing, the direction of your compass must be aligned with your destination. Without this alignment, you risk starting off in a direction opposite your intended destination. What this translates to downstream is risking the investment of time, effort, and money that will not take you to your destination. So, how do we define your strategic intent? Well, this phase involves co creating what we call digital change goals through structured activities, which includes workshops and collaborative discussions. In effect, we're exploring your organizational goals or your destination and translating them into actionable digital change goals that reflect how technology will drive that transformation. In addition, we're critically defining the outcomes and metrics that will support each goal, ensuring that they're not just aspirational, but measurable. Conversations in this phase also focus on eliciting constraints and risks, though this is not the only place in the development process that we'll talk about risks and constraints. Now, the who of this phase includes, again, executives, typically those involved in phase one, which included your IT and senior leadership. The stakeholder pool also expands here to include key department or functional heads. Now, these leadership, as well as some tactical managers, we typically see somewhere between 6 and 10 stakeholders engaged here. The diversity of the stakeholders participating ensures that multiple perspectives are considered. Consider this. Although the stakeholders have varied operational priorities and responsibilities, they're connected by the same processes and existing technologies, which means the overlap fosters shared aspirations among these stakeholders and helps with alignment. Now, right sizing your intent is one of the most common challenges we've seen. Digital change goals can be either too many or too limited. Both extremes can create issues as the process unfolds. For example, too many goals can lead to resource strain and diluted focus in the downstream implementation, while too few may not generate the impact needed for meaningful change. Our prioritization principle takes center stage here. We recommend prioritizing the results of this phase, focusing on that 3 to 5 key digital change goals. Each goal should have a clearly defined outcome and measurable success criteria. By striking the right balance, the roadmap can cascade effectively into subsequent phases without overburdening resources or losing momentum. This brings us to our key insight. Strategic alignment is crucial. Without it, the roadmap risks losing focus and effectiveness, making it difficult to achieve organizational goals. In the absence of alignment or clearly defined organizational goals, it is critical to pause. Addressing these fundamental elements is essential before moving forward to ensure that the roadmap delivers meaningful impact. With the strategic intent defined, the next step is to assess the current state, effectively answering the question, where are we now? What does this phase involve? Well, this phase provides a pragmatic picture of your organization's operational realities, serving as the foundation for all subsequent phases. This includes evaluating processes, technology, data, security, as well as your user and customer experience. By identifying these elements, we're establishing a baseline, or what we're calling point A. This allows the roadmap to address gaps and build on existing strengths. Why is this so important? Well, before you can chart a path for your future state, you need a clear understanding of your starting point. The current state assessment ensures that the roadmap reflects your organization's true needs and opportunities. Without this clarity, transformation efforts risk being disconnected from reality, leading to misaligned priorities and missed opportunities. How do we assess your current state? Well, we recommend engaging widely to capture a comprehensive picture. At the start of this phase, we revalidate the stakeholders identified during planning, ensuring that there's representation from each of the scoped areas. Techniques are tailored to your organization's culture and priorities, but we find that collaborative workshops and department specific discussions often generate rich real time feedback that focuses on what's working well, what's not working well, what's missing, as well as what inventive solutions or shortcuts have been implemented by teams to address gaps. We often find through this process that teams have been using shadow IT to bridge the gap where their IT needs are not being met. This dilutes or distorts the process. We then use a triage and categorization process to distill the raw feedback into actionable insights. Themes emerge from this process, becoming critical inputs to the next phase, helping to shape actionable requirements. So, who's involved? Well, this phase widens the stakeholder pool even more, engaging participants from across strategic, tactical, and operational levels. We find that strategic leaders who provide high level context, as well as tactical managers who contribute operational insights, and then you have operational subject matter experts who identify more specific pain points. This diversity enriches the process and creates that pragmatic picture. Now, depending on your business, this phase may also include customer groups to capture valuable insights on the end user experience. This diversity again ensures that there's a balanced evaluation, uncovering opportunities for improvement while protecting areas of strength. Your future state will not be net new. It will leverage the strengths of your current state. Now, a common pitfall in this phase is minimizing or skipping it entirely. Often organizations focus solely on known gaps or modernization opportunities, overlooking current strengths that should be preserved. Eliminating this phase risks creating a roadmap disconnected from your reality. We advocate strongly for a thorough current state assessment. This phase ensures that your roadmap doesn't just solve problems, but builds on strengths, setting the foundation for forward looking transformation. Now, here's our key insight. Knowing point A is critical. A balanced evaluation of processes, technology, and capabilities ensures that your roadmap doesn't lean too heavily on one area. By addressing inefficiencies and building on strengths, you set the stage for meaningful, sustainable transformation. Welcome back. With the current state assessment complete, we now move to phase four to identify needs. Identifying needs is about aggregating current state outputs into cross functional requirements that are strategic and actionable. In this phase, we're prioritizing alignment with the digital change goals established during strategic intent, ensuring that the requirements directly support the organization's transformation objectives. It's the how digital will enable business value. Now, think of this as the phase where raw insights are refined into meaningful and measurable needs, providing a bridge between where you are and where you want to be, or the bridge between your point A and your point B. Why is this so important? Well, it's not enough to identify individual pain points or opportunities. To be effective, we need to zoom out and focus on the broader organizational needs that identify with the strategic goals. This is our core principle of maintaining a strategic focus. As the future state vision is high level, we need to translate those individual pain points and opportunities into higher level requirements to be able to create that vision. Without this phase, there's a risk of creating a fragmented roadmap that addresses isolated issues rather than driving holistic transformation. So, how do we align, synthesize, and prioritize those needs? Well, building on the themes that were identified in Assess Current State, we group related insights into high level requirements such as the ability to statements. These are actually requirements, but they're not rigid or specific. For example, the ability to ensure data consistency across donor and grant systems, or the ability to provide real time reporting on organizational performance metrics. Collaboratively, we prioritize these requirements through structured activities, ensuring critical needs are addressed first. For example, ensuring data consistency might be prioritized first as it provides the foundation for subsequent needs like real time reporting. Workshops with both business and IT stakeholders help to refine and prioritize these needs, ensuring that they're actionable and aligned with organizational capacity. So remember, one of the core principles that underpins the approach is prioritization as it powers clarity. Now, the who of this phase involves stakeholders from the current state assessment. Typically, we need the same stakeholders. So IT leadership, senior organizational leaders, as well as the operational subject matter experts, they continue to play a role in validating and prioritizing the requirements. This continuity fosters accountability and alignment, and it ensures that the same individuals who provided feedback are involved in refining and prioritizing the resulting requirements, sort of closing the loop, right? We ask for your feedback, you give it, and here you're understanding how it impacts the bigger picture. Now, one of the common challenge is everything being a top priority. Stakeholders often feel that all needs are equally critical, making prioritization difficult. In reality, everything as a top priority dilutes focus and ultimately delays progress. So, how do we address this challenge? Well, we use a collaborative prioritization techniques to rank needs based on impact, feasibility, as well as dependencies, just to name a few. This ensures that the most critical requirements are addressed first, creating a strong foundation for transformation. This brings us to our key insight. Traceability and alignment are critical in this phase. So they're not just core principle, but they're pillars. In the strategic intent phase, we cascaded down from the organizational goals to create digital change goals. And here in identify needs, we aggregate up from the raw feedback to align with those digital change goals. So we're ensuring that alignment. The details are not discarded, however. Instead, we ensured forward traceability from organizational goals to needs and backward traceability from raw feedback to organizational goals. This approach also creates the opportunity for reassessment. When needs are identified as orphaned, not aligning with any digital change goals, it prompts a closer review of those goals, ensuring that they remain relevant and comprehensive. Welcome back. With point A established and organizational needs identified, Welcome back. We've now arrived at the final phase, assembling the roadmap. This is where all the insights, visions, evaluations, and prioritizations from the previous phases come together to form a cohesive, actionable plan. Developing the roadmap means translating the prioritized solution options into initiatives. Each initiative is defined, estimated at a high level, and sequenced based on the strategic priorities or dependencies or organizational capacity, just to name a few. This roadmap serves as a tactical guide, providing clarity on what needs to be done, when, and by whom to achieve the transformational goals. Why is this phase so important? Well, the roadmap is your transformation guide. It bridges the gap between strategy and execution. By providing a high-level sequence plan, the roadmap ensures that the efforts are focused, resources are allocated efficiently, and everyone involved and to be involved will understand the path forward. It turns your vision into actionable steps, aligning investments with strategic priorities and organizational capacity. How do we develop the roadmap? Well, similar to all the other phases in our approach, this phase involves several key activities. First, we identify initiatives. What this means is we break down the prioritized solution options into specific initiatives or projects that are actionable and aligned with your transformational goals. Another key activity is estimating effort, duration, and cost. Using a strategic level estimation, we provide high-level cost and duration ranges for each initiative, typically with a variance of -50% to +100%. This approach offers flexibility, accommodating uncertainties while guiding decision-making. Again, think back to our core principle of keeping a strategic focus. A key activity or another key activity is sequencing the initiatives. Through collaborative workshops, we sequence the initiatives based on priorities, dependencies, and organizational capacity. This sequencing balances quick wins with long-term goals, ensuring momentum and sustainability. A fourth and probably most critical activity here is creating what we call initiative cards that identify assumptions, risks, and dependencies. By doing this, we're able to add enough detail so that project and planning execution has an anchor. The who of this phase involves key decision makers and cross-functional stakeholders, which includes IT leadership to validate feasibility of the projects from a technical perspective, business leaders to align initiatives with strategic priorities, and some subject matter experts to identify operational risks and dependencies. The input from this diverse stakeholder pool ensures that the roadmap reflects a well-rounded perspective and aligns with your organizational goals. A common pitfall here is a tendency to front-load the roadmap with too many initiatives in the initial phases or the initial years, which can overwhelm resources and hinder progress. So how do we recommend addressing this? Well, we use a balanced sequencing approach to align initiatives with organizational capacity. By staggering initiatives and balancing quick wins with strategic, long-term projects, we're able to prevent resource strain and maintain momentum. This approach ensures that the organization can effectively manage change without overextending itself. This brings us to our key insight, and I want to connect it back to our core principle of maintaining a strategic focus. High-level estimates with that -50% to +100% range provide the flexibility needed while planning, which is what we're doing when creating the roadmap, and helps to manage uncertainty down the line in implementation. This strategic level estimation balances the need for foresight with the recognition that not all variables are known at this stage. It enables informed decision-making, guiding investments while accommodating potential change. By developing the roadmap, we've connected strategy to action. This sequenced actionable plan empowers your organization to move forward confidently, knowing that each step is aligned with your strategic goals and the capacity for change. As we conclude the exploration of our 7-phase approach, I hope it's clear how each phase builds upon the previous one, collectively delivering a roadmap that is both visionary and practical. In the final part of our discussion, I'll share how we can partner with your organization to bring this approach to life, tailoring it to your unique needs and context. As we wrap up, let's talk about how we can partner with your organization to help bring this approach to life. At Online, we recognize that every organization has unique needs and our services are designed to meet you where you are. Here are 3 ways we can partner with you. If you already have a roadmap in place, we can conduct a comprehensive roadmap assessment. This involves reviewing and validating your existing roadmap to ensure alignment with your organizational goals, identify any areas for optimization, and providing actionable recommendations to enhance its effectiveness. For organizations with more immediate needs or focused priorities, we offer a rapid roadmap option. This is a targeted engagement designed to quickly create a roadmap that addresses specific challenges such as departmental requirements or urgent operational goals without compromising on quality or alignment. Finally, for organizations looking for a more comprehensive approach, we offer to co-create your digital strategy and roadmap. This is the full process we've been walking through, starting from prepare and plan to assembling a roadmap that guides your long-term transformation journey. Each of these options is designed to provide value at the stage you're in. Whether you need validation, rapid execution, or a full transformation strategy, we're here to support you in achieving your goals. Thank you for your time. I've enjoyed sharing the insights around getting from A to B with your digital strategy and roadmap. Again, my name is Whitney White, and I am the Principal Consultant for our Digital Advisor Services practice here at Online Business Systems. My contact details are included, and I'd be happy to continue this discussion around digital strategy and roadmaps at your convenience. You can also check out info.obsglobal.com/blogs. Here you can find blogs I've authored on the subject matter.